Well, hello, YouTube. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Hello to Twitter. Hello to Facebook. And I want to talk tonight about being raised by witches. What in the world are we talking about? Raised by witches. Well, folks, I hope that you'll enjoy the program that we have for you tonight. And I want you to continue to help us make these programs possible. Go to jeffreydarty.com, as you see here. Click on the Mistech logo right here in the middle. Read about these great bands that allow you to sleep less, feel better, do better in the gym, do better in the bedroom, to be very frank and honest with you. Make yourself feel better, increase your astral projection. They reset your body to the Schumann resonance. They give you great energy. You can read all of the different testimonials here, see all of the different videos. Decide which band you want by clicking here and going to the Mistech website, and then come back to jeffreydarty.com. Tell me what you want. I'll give you a 20% discount. And this is what's going to enable me to continue to embark upon the paranormal trip. We've already been to Coral Castle. We've already been to the Georgia Guidestones. We've already been to the huge statue of Athena in Nashville, Tennessee. The paranormal trip is just getting started. Thank you so much for helping. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for helping me help you. Raised by witches. Jeff, what in the world are you talking about? Well, I'll be 55 years old this year. And if you're my age or around my age, or even down into the 30s, you most likely were raised by witches. Most likely you would come home and sit down and watch on television witches for at least a couple hours a day. We were raised by witches. We were raised on witchcraft. We were raised to believe in it. We were raised to have a positive impression of it. And we might have been being prepared from a very young age to be right where we are today. And you can look at that as a positive, or you can look at that as a negative, whichever way you choose. But ladies and gentlemen, I think that we were raised by witches. Just a quick look into the chat room, see how everybody's going, see how everybody's doing. Jeff, can you get R. Wayne Steiger together with Og Talese? I don't know if I can or not, but Wayne and I will be together tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for our Not Your Normal Sunday Morning Show. Witches of Eastwick, I did get your email, Naomi. We can probably make that happen. Disney, north of Toronto, good to see you. Another person from Toronto, good to see you. Another person from Canada, good to see you. Lots of people. Cleveland, Tennessee. I wasn't in Cleveland, Lit T. I was in Nashville. I was at the Georgia Guidestones. I was licensed by the Church of God, Cleveland, Tennessee, but I've never actually been to Cleveland, Tennessee. Return to Witch Mountain. A lot of you are getting a lot of this great stuff together. Here's the things I want to talk to you about. Let's talk about a person that I think you'll probably recognize. Let's talk about this person. Let's talk about I Dream of Jeannie. Who can forget Barbara Eden in the Jeannie outfit? I'm sorry if that offends you, but I'm not the only man of my age. I'm not the only man, period, that really loved seeing Barbara Eden in the Jeannie outfit. Plus, she was very, very cute, very, very happy. But really, what was Barbara Eden? And interesting, it was 1964 when Barbara Eden began her run as Jeannie. Now, of course, I was born in 63. Many of you were born in around the same time. But Jeannie, even though it was a highly rated show, didn't really hit its stride until it was in reruns, and we'll go into that. But let's talk about what Jeannie, I Dream of Jeannie was all about. Remind you of some weird things some strange coincidences. I Dream of Jeannie was an American fantasy sitcom starring Barbara Eden as a 2,000-year-old Jeannie. What else happened about 2,000 years ago? 2,000 years ago, Jeannie was born. 2,000 years ago, Jesus was supposedly born as well. Just a little interesting factoid. Jeannie and Jesus born about the same time. Larry Hagman, Tony Nelson, was her master, and he just happened to be an astronaut. He just happened to be working with NASA. Just a subtle indication, a subtle suggestion that perhaps NASA was working with other worldly entities. Is that possible? Or is that craziness? Is it a little nod to the fact that, hey, NASA, the space agencies, all of these things might just be working with some individuals with some powers that, well, we're not quite ready to tell you about. Her and Major Nelson fall in love. They eventually get married. Are they suggesting that NASA's married to extraterrestrials? Come on, Jeff, that's crazy. There's no way they could be suggesting that. No way they could be suggesting that NASA's married to extraterrestrials just because Jeannie's bottle kind of looks like a rocket. Come on, man. That is craziness. And they did 139 episodes. In the pilot episode, Captain Tony Nelson, United States Air Force, is on a space flight when his one-man capsule, Stardust 1, comes down away from the recovery area in an island in the South Pacific. Tony notices a strange bottle. Out pops Jeannie, making a long story short. And 165, was it episodes later, 139 episodes later, they're married. And wow, here's Jeannie. Here's the Air Force working together with a Jeannie. Tony's best friend was in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Captain Roger Healy. And guess what the Army Corps of Engineers is responsible for? Well, let's see what they're responsible for. Let's just go ahead and click on here and see what the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers does. It's a major Army command. It's the world's largest public engineering, design, and construction agency. They build dams, they build canals, and they also engineer and design things. Could this possibly? Nah, they're not suggesting that U.S. Army designers, U.S. Air Force designers are getting information from otherworldly extraterrestrial entities. Come on, man. Don't be crazy. There's no way that they would be able or would try to suggest any of these silly things. And the fact that Major Nelson had some problems with an ambassador from a Arab country doesn't mean anything. And when they had another Arab Jeannie, which looks curiously like Barack Obama, pay no attention to it. Pay no attention to it. Pay no attention to that. Tell me that guy doesn't look like Barack Obama. And tell me Barbara Eden didn't wear the hell out of that outfit. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Sometimes there's just some weird stuff. Wow. NASA, extraterrestrials, NASA designers, extraterrestrials, and a djinn that looks just like the 44th president of the United States. He's Muslim. He's using sleight of hand. He's tricking people. He's fooling people. None of that is connected at all to Barack Hussein Obama, is it? What do you think, Rooney? Rooney was just voicing his opinion. I don't know if you heard him or not. Wow. That, I have to say, is interesting, to say the least. Let me check in the chat room, make sure I showed you those pictures. I think I showed you those pictures. Okay, I'm feeling we really are in a matrix, she says. Rocker chick. Lit T says it's a white rabbit hole, soft disclosure, even in the campy episodes of the X-Files. No coinky dinks, says Jeer McKenzie. Barbara Eden owned that outfit. She really did. I think you might be onto something, Jeff. Violet Flames says, hope you're feeling better. I am feeling better. Thank you very much. Predictive programming. Oh, we have a Barack Obama defender, maybe? That's okay. That's okay. We don't usually wax philosophical or political in this. She used to jerk her head forward to make magic. Yep, I like that. That was really awesome. I'm not sure what that means, but true regarding each having twins. Serena, Samantha. Oh, that's right. Twins, the tie-in with twins and MK Ultra, the tie-in with twins and stuff. Female Christ. That's interesting. Lit T. Yeah, he worked for NASA. Jeannie was a Jen. Both had twins. Very cute, very happy character. My husband had a crush on her. He probably still does. This is about witches. You got my attention. Wizards of Waverly Place. Wow. Interesting stuff. Jeannie. And wait, there's more. Not only are we going to talk about Jeannie, but we're going to talk about this beloved character, the show of Bewitched, which also started in, guess when? 1964. 1964, just like Jeannie. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the numerology of that in just a minute. Bewitched was an American television sitcom fantasy series created by Saul Sachs about a witch, that's pretty plain, pretty clear, who marries an ordinary mortal man and vows to live the life of a typical suburban housewife. Bewitched finished as high as the #2 show in America during its debut season and was the longest running supernatural themed show of the 1960s and 1970s. It was ranked number 50 on the 50 greatest TV shows of all time. A witch named Samantha meets and marries a mortal man. She, for the most part, subdues her magic, but then every now and then, of course, she would go ahead and become a witch and do witch stuff. So the interesting thing about it to me is, well, number one, both of them started in 1964. Both of them very attractive women. Both of them happen to be blonde. That's somewhat interesting. But both of them very highly positive portrayals of witchcraft. Very highly positive portrayals of witches. Now, is that totally a bad thing, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, it's promoting witchcraft. It's promoting hocus pocus. It's taking people away from Jesus. Well, is it? Or was? I can see it both ways. I can see it both ways. I can see it both ways. Bonsai, the walking tree, obviously sees the dark side of it, but I can see the light side of it. People like Anya. As I sit here in front of a crystal ball and boards with playing cards and tarot cards on them, Lit T says she wanted to be a witch and an Amazon like Wonder Woman. Yeah, I was reading about it, Rocker Chick. They had to replace the Darren because the first guy got sick. So they were preparing us with some soft disclosure, arguably, with NASA and Darren, or excuse me, NASA and Jeannie, preparing us to understand that NASA is probably working with some extraterrestrials on design and things of that way. And then I'm not sure what they were up to with Bewitched. Maybe it was just a fun show, but it was used, I think, to give a positive portrayal of magic, a positive portrayal of witchcraft. And it did serve to make a lot of us begin to ponder and consider the works of the supernatural realm. Good, White Lion. I'm glad to hear that. She's about to make an order on the website. I'm excited. But let's talk about one more person. And this one's kind of under the radar to me. This one was kind of under the radar. Mary Poppins. That's right. Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins, fictional character, protagonist of the Mary Poppins books, a magical English nanny. She blows in on the east wind and arrives at the Banks home at number 17 Cherry Tree Lane in London. So that's number 8. Number 8, let me refresh myself on what the numerological significance of a number 8 is. The essence of a number 8 is success and opportunity. The positive aspects of an 8 are they seek opportunity, business-minded, good with numbers, good judges of character. They can be detached, uncaring, self-centered, ruthless, and optimistic. Esoteric aspects, mathematical logic, connected to deeply hidden spiritual knowledge, connection to deeply hidden spiritual knowledge, connection to deeply hidden spiritual knowledge. Wow. That's interesting. Mary Poppins, connection to deeply hidden spiritual knowledge, according to numerology. Julie Andrews in, guess what year, ladies and gentlemen? I'll wait. 1964. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress for portraying Mary Poppins in the Hollywood film of the same name. And we all remember that a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. Please tell me that was Mary Poppins. A spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down in a most delightful way. She was a witch who used magic and self-control to take care of the Banks children. I remember Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, A Flying Car, Dick Van Dyke. I think that was another movie that Mary Poppins was just in, or maybe it wasn't even Mary Poppins. Maybe it's just Julie Andrews. Maybe someone can remind me of that. But it's very, very interesting to me. All three, Julie Andrews, the first non-blonde, by the way. Although I believe When the Hills Were Alive with the Sound of Music, she was a blonde, but not in Mary Poppins. So, 3 witches, Jeannie, Samantha of Bewitched, and Mary Poppins, all coming to us in 1964, which is a 2. I see Max already did the numerology, so let's take a look at what 2s do. 2s, balance, union, receptive. So maybe they want us to be receptive to this. Their planets are the moon, which is highly feminine. All, of course, these 3 ladies were feminine. Barbara Eden and Elizabeth Montgomery, a little more so than Julie Andrews. Although Julie Andrews, after the Mary Poppins thing, did do a topless scene in a movie, which is interesting. Togetherness, sharing, harmonious relationships, peace, intuition, teamwork, indecision, shyness, difficult to please, duality, confrontation, polarity, opposition, antagonism, urge to seek union. Interesting just to think about some of this stuff and how it relates to some of the things that we've been through in our lives. Jeannie, Samantha, Mary Poppins, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, even though the sound of it is somewhat quite atrocious. Mary just pop in. Ooh, is that like Mary walk in? I'm back into the chat room, of course. Peter Pan, of course. Oh, yes. Peter Pan. Wow. Let me get up back. I think there's going to be some real good chat in here. So let me get back into the chat room and let me see what you folks have had to say. There were 2 Darrens. Yep. Let's see. Lily Munster. There you go. The 1960s, the Munsters as well. Bewitched, Griselda. That's right. Interesting comment from Belinda. It was after the JFK assassination. Not a coincidence. Wow. That's a very interesting point. Michelle says priming and prepping our minds. There were warlocks too. Yep. A spoonful of sugar does make the medicine go down. Good. Members of the Process Church of the Final Judgment. Chimney. Yep. The one that told children to use their magic. Raggedy Ann. Oh, brother. Let's get rid of this comment. Were the kids twins? I can't remember. I think they were. Mary just popping in. Yep. Mary just walking in. My parents were super religious, but they did let me watch the witch shows. That's interesting, Rocker Chick. These shows made me feel good because I felt the connection. There you go, Jerry McKenzie. I walk with the devil every day. I don't need no intercourse with no soul-sucking incubus. All righty then. It's all about the 8s. She made us all love magic. The Sound of Music. Dick and Julie made a few. Yep, they did. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, We Love You. Yep. Not if she was singing that. Oh, and now we got a lot of, this is good. We got a lot of questions. We got a lot of Charmed. That was much later, of course. Bed knobs and broomsticks. That's right. I forgot about that one. Wizard of Oz was way earlier. You're right, Nigel. That was way back. What's a bed knob? That's the things that used to be on top of the bed post was a bed knob. Addams Family, Witch Mountain. That's right. Escape to Witch Mountain, Return from Witch Mountain. I think that was the late 60s, early 70s. Rose McGowan admitted that she was what? Raised in the Children of God cult on Howard Stern. Glendora was a reference to the Witch of Endor. I can definitely see that. I didn't like Jeannie. Anya, how can you not like Jeannie? Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. That's right. The Flying Nun. What year was the Flying Nun? That was a witch nun. Flying Nun. What year was the Flying Nun out? The Flying Nun came out in 1960. Wait for it. 1967. I can't say 1964. Would have loved to, but still, right in that same era, the Flying Nun. Disney has so many witch shows, you've lost count, of course. Morticia Addams, 1966. Boom, right there. Same time frame. You're a little bit off on Flying Nun, but we get the point. A whole lot of witches The Flying Nun is crazy when you think about it. A flying witch / nun. How about that? Very, 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 very interesting. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Witchy Poo. Dark Shadows. When did the Dark Shadows daily soap opera run? What years was that? Dark Shadows TV. Dark Shadows TV series. 1965. Wow. Same exact time frame. Dark Shadows, vampires, Frankenstein, Jinn, witches. Oh my. Weren't the 60s a great time? Woo! Elvira. Interesting, interesting stuff. Twilight Zone. Absolutely. Outer Limits, Inner Sanctum. And let's face it, even Star Trek starting, the Addams Family. Oh, well, how could we forget the Addams Family? Right? Addams Family, the Munsters. When was the Addams Family? Addams Family TV. Addams Family TV show. Anybody want to guess what year? 1964. And I was just going to say Star Trek 1968. Wow. So when was Lost in Space TV? When did that start? Lost in Space TV show. 1965. Wow. It was a very interesting time to be alive. The numerology for 1964 is a 2. Very, very interesting. Somebody asked, was it good or was it bad? I'd have to say yes. It's all in what you make it, isn't it? It's all in what you make it. Well, I don't want to really do this, but I'm going to do it. We'll break out the rods for a couple of questions. Oh, will there be a false flag at the Super Bowl? No. Will there be any bad thing happen at the Super Bowl? No. Fred Flintstone had a Martian friend. When did My Favorite Martian come out? My Favorite Martian. My Favorite Martian Wikipedia show. 1963. My Favorite Martian. Wow. This is fascinating. All of this stuff going on. All of this stuff going on. Wow. Very, very interesting stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. When did Kazoo appear on the Flintstones? I don't know. The Night Gallery with Rod Sterling. Yes. Sterling, whatever his name was. A lot of stuff happening in 1964, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody else have any that they remember? Wow. I did not know that it was so much, that there was so much going on then. Very, very interesting. Very, very powerful. Wow. Interesting times. When did the Night Stalker come out? When did the Night Stalker come out? No, that was long. I think I don't. Let me think about that. Call check the Night Stalker. The Night Stalker episodes. When did that come out? The Night Stalker, 1972. Yeah, that was a bit later. Still very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. I think that the Rod Sterling is allegedly a Mandela effect. A lot of 1964 bursts in this chat room. Coincidence? All after the murder of JFK. Was that a tipping point? Rosemary's Baby, 1968. Is Crotwell's mother a witch? No. While you're here, hit the like button. While you're here, make sure that you are subscribed, because it does unsubscribe people for unknown reasons. Very interesting show. Thank you for your input. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your answers. All of us that were raised by witches starting in 1964. Michelle says, feels like Tavistock Institute to me. Wow. It sort of does, doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen? It does feel awfully Tavistocky in here. Well, folks, that was fun. That was enjoyable. You'll probably see me one more time tonight. Until then, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, helping you guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, be your own guru, helping encourage you to ask questions, question answers, stay fearless, my friends, and unindoctrinate yourselves.